Launch your own video channel for free at Real.video.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Do you think that this is very tolerant behavior? Now that the police have left, since President Trump's motorcade has already passed through, the protesters over here have now escalated into a violent, angry, outrage mob.
You fuck Alex Jones' dick for money! Your father hates you! You're a misogynist! Step back from the room! You dumb fucking bitch! Fuck Trump! Alex Jones! Fuck Trump! It's aren't even news!
Are you going to try to keep the peace? Are you going to try to tell people to be peaceful and loving? I can't hear you. Do you think that this group here is being very loving?
I think that we're here to have our voices heard, and that's what's happening.
I believe that we will win! I believe that we will win! I believe.
Well, you know, you just can't take cameras out in public anymore because people can't do anything but curse and scream and bitch and whine and moan. And so you can't play this stuff. You just can't do it anymore. It's impossible. You can't just grab a video and play it because ingrates in this world have no idea how to act anymore in America. Welcome to our Monday edition of the 2018 banned midterm election coverage. I'm your host, Rob Dew. I'm going to be taking you in and around through this. I want to talk about a few things. One is Khashoggi's death, which is very interesting. There's lots of different things being said. Of course, Saudi Arabia, they said they didn't do anything, but then they came out and admitted it, or at least CNN was reporting that. So we got CNN reports Saudis preparing to admit Jamal Khashoggi was killed and interrogation gone wrong. I guess they bopped him too many times upside the head. And then we have the king steps in as Riyadh defends itself in Khashoggi case. It's from yahoo.com earlier today. King Salman began weighing in, trying to defuse the growing crisis over missing journalist. And then we have Saudi Arabia will retaliate over any sanctions over Khashoggi case. And this Khashoggi case, I think the big deal is, what did he have? What did they want to know? So there's speculation that he knew about 9/11, had some 9/11 information, which to me, I'm like, well, if he had 9/11 information, why didn't he bring it out years ago? Why is he keeping it to himself? Why hold on to that information? He apparently was a fan of the current regime and was in lockstep with their 2030 agenda. So it'll be interesting to see what evidence we actually do see. There's supposedly some audio and video recordings. Then how did they get those? They say he transmitted it through an Apple Watch. Is that even possible? Did we determine if that was possible? Zimmerman, I'll leave that for you in a little bit. But it's very interesting to see what's going on now. And that on top of, this happened over the weekend. In fact, I watched this actual rally that Trump had when he was in Ohio. It was Lebanon, Ohio. NBC came out and did a tweet saying, Trump called Confederate General Robert E. Lee incredible. And you know what, guys? Actually, I think we even have part of the clip in. I didn't clip the whole thing, but you can definitely get the gist. If you go into Friday's show folder, you should be able to find it in special broadcasts. And we'll play that in a little bit. Let me know when you got it. Because NBC came out. I don't have the tweet in front of me, but they issued a correction over their tweet. But they left it out there for about, I don't know, I want to say like 12, 13 hours before they before they corrected it. And if you look at the tweet that NBC put out, I think it had over 3 million views where they said, oh, look, he called Robert E. Lee incredible. He's a racist. And then their backtrack where they play the whole clip where he explains that Lincoln was getting his butt kicked by Robert E. Lee, which is true. And you can go look at any historian worth their salt will say that in the beginning, it looked like the South was going to win the Civil War. Kind of because they had country boys. So let's see. What does that first tweet have? Let's see. 5.7 million views. Okay, so it only had 2 million, and they played 30-something seconds of it. Now let's go up and let's see the correction. Let's see how many views that has. Oh, 2.39 million. So about not even half as much. So they finally get it, and they have the full clip. The correction. The earlier tweet misidentified the general President Trump described as incredible as General Ulysses S. Grant, who was from Ohio, and it was the section. Actually, there was multiple sections that he did where he's talking about great Ohioans, like the Wright brothers, like the first man to walk on the moon, Neil Armstrong. And he said some pretty interesting things about that. Grab the Neil Armstrong clip, too, because that was funny, how he talks about how Neil planted the flag on the moon. So we'll play the full clip here so you can see. Oh, we have it? All right, let's play. This is... And in fact, I did cut out a little bit at the end because he goes on and on and on about Ulysses S. Grant. And so here it is. This is Trump from Friday in Lebanon, Ohio. Here it is.
Ohio is the state that gave us the Wright brothers. It gave us Neil Armstrong. He's the man that planted the flag. Think of that. On the face of the moon. Who's that? Who are they? A relative of Neil. That's nice. They weren't worried about not planting a flag, right? You know that. He planted that flag, that American flag, right on the face of the moon. There was no kneeling. There was no nothing. There was no games. There was no games. Boom. Boom. What? Right, fellas? My military guys up here. Of course, excuse me.
That one said Grant. Maybe it was misidentified. See if you can find. That was actually the one about Neil Armstrong, how he planted the flag and didn't kneel. I think that was kind of a rib to the football players who were still kneeling out there. What else happened today after lunch? Oh, yeah, and actually put that back up. If you go watch First Man on the Moon, or First Man, they took out the part of him planting the American flag on the moon. Why? Why would they do that? Because, they wanted to be good global citizens, and they don't want anybody taking credit. Well, we give Portugal credit for sending a Spaniard to discover the New World. We call it Columbus Day. And some people call it Indigenous Peoples Day. Magellan, I think he was from Portugal too, and he circumnavigated the globe. If you go to parts of Africa, they still have bits of colonial Britain from going down there. And they take their credit. But no, you send a man to the moon, supposedly, if that footage is real, which I have some questions about. But they omit the fact that he planted the flag on the moon from this movie that had a Canadian playing the first man on the moon who was an American. But hey, we got an English guy playing the head of the zombie crew over on The Walking Dead. So it doesn't even matter anymore. We're just that much of a world masterpiece. There's some of the clips from First Man. Best movie of the year. Tune in now. Oh, I wonder if that's the real footage. Hey, guys, look up the article that NASA lost the moon landing footage. I told my son this And he didn't believe me. He's like, they didn't lose the footage. I'm like, no, they lost the footage. They actually lost the footage. Well, let's bring up this. Moon landing tapes got erased. I'm sorry, they just got erased. The original recordings of the first humans landing on the moon 40 years ago were erased and reused. Oh, but newly restored copies of the original broadcast look even better. They erased the original. Now, can you imagine? These are the tapes of us landing on the moon. Keep them safe. Keep them safe. Keep them safe. And they hand it off to an intern who puts it in the deck to be reused over and over again. Isn't that special? That's how much they cared about their moon footage, which makes people question, wow, why would we erase over the tapes? But don't worry, we have the copies. They're just as good. All right, so we have the clip of him talking about Robert E. Lee and Ulysses S. Grant and Lincoln. And it's in Trump style, which kind of jumps around back and forth, and he kind of teases what he's going to say, and then he builds the story up, kind of like his little act that he does when he goes on the road. Because it is turning into, I wouldn't say it's not vaudeville, but it's definitely like, this is the presidential speech act, which I'm all for. I think it's great that he goes out there and talks like a normal human to the people instead of sitting and really thinking about what he is going to say. So here we go. President Trump praises Robert E. Lee during Ohio rally. There it is. Look at that. Politico even does it too. What a bunch of scumbags. I don't know this is old news, but it's like they're finally, oh yeah, we were wrong. So here's what he said. Let's just watch it and see if we can figure it out.
Ohio is the state that gave us a great president who hasn't been properly recognized, okay? William McKinley has not been properly recognized. What he did in terms of trade, in terms of war, but in terms of trade, and I hate to say it, in terms of being smart and tariffs, William McKinley has not been properly recognized, but maybe someday he will. It also gave you...
They even took his mountain away.
A general who was incredible. He drank a little bit too much. You know who I'm talking about, right?
And they're not talking about Robert E. Lee there. He's talking about Grant.
So Robert E. Lee
obviously
was a great general. And Abraham Lincoln developed a phobia. He couldn't beat Robert E. Lee. He was going crazy. I don't know if you know this story, but Robert E. Lee was winning battle after battle after battle. And Abraham Lincoln came home. He said, I can't beat Robert E. Lee. And he had all of these generals. They looked great. They were the top of their class at West Point. They were the greatest people. There's only one problem. They didn't know how the hell to win. They didn't know how to fight. They didn't know how. And one day, it was looking really bad. And Lincoln just said, you hardly knew his name. And they said, don't take him. He's got a drinking problem. And Lincoln said, I don't care what problem he has. You guys aren't winning. And his name was Grant, General Grant. And he went in and he knocked the hell out of everyone. And you know the story. They said to Lincoln, you can't use him anymore. He's an alcoholic. And Lincoln said, I don't care if he's an alcoholic. Frankly, give me 6 or 7 more just like him.
So he starts off saying, he had a drinking problem. And then he starts talking about Lee was a good general, which he was. He was kicking the snot out of the Union. And it wasn't until they put in Ulysses S. Grant, who maybe it was his fondness of the drink that led him to, send men into places that other generals wouldn't send them. And so Trump called, and he was a great general. Robert E. Lee IV disagrees. Lee had less men. It's like saying, you look back at the Vietnam War. Was Ho Chi Minh a great general? Well, he wasn't really a general. He was more of a leader of the people, and there were other people running the Viet Cong army. But the way they fought, they had more men. They kept pouring them in. But they did different things, and their little offenses, some of them didn't work, but they kept, their whole thing was, we're not going to stop until everybody's dead. They'd have to kill us all. And you can't really beat an enemy like that. That's almost impossible. But with the Civil War, you had two groups basically fighting against each other on the same playing field. The Union Army had some advantages because they had the railroad and the factories and the industry, but the South had guys who were used to living on their own and surviving and could work better under these harsh conditions. So what did y'all just put up? I missed that. There it is. NBC belatedly corrects fake news story on Trump and Robert E. Lee. Oh, boy. So Paul Allen died today as well. He was 65. He had lymphoma. It's interesting that these guys, I think that's what, no. What did the Apple guy die of? He had this, Paul Allen had lymphoma. I think he had Hodgkin's disease. Did he have, or was it pancreatic cancer? Pancreatic cancer. That's what it was. Get these weird cancers, I guess, working around all these cathode ray tubes and TVs. Who knows? But you'd think a guy with all that money would be able to figure out what he's got before and fix himself. No, 65 years old. Guy was running around. He was just on the news the other day. Got a basketball team. Owns a little bit of the Seahawks, the soccer team. Just, running around being a billionaire. Oh, really? So Jen just popped in my ear and said he had it since his 20s. So I guess he was able to keep it off for a while. That's interesting. I wonder what kind of treatments he was using. I wonder if those are treatments we'll get. Not with our healthcare plans. No. All right, I'm going to give out the number. And after the break, we're going to have a break at the bottom of the hour. 888-201-2244. 888-201-2244. How long is Greg Reese's report on Iran? Because another interesting thing that Trump said in that rally, he started talking about Iran. Okay, we actually have time to go to it. Let's go to it right now. You got it ready? This is Greg Reese's report on Iran, and then when we come back from break, we're going to take your calls, 888-201-2244, 888-201-2244. You're watching our band coverage of the midterm elections. Let's roll that tape.
Pinocchio. Restart.
I withdrew the United States from the horrible one-sided Iran nuclear deal, and look what happened to Iran. When I took office, Iran was all over the place. They were taking over Syria, they were taking over Yemen, they were taking over everything. I actually said, this is going to be a problem, and we got to do something. And about 4 months ago, we withdrew from that horrible, ridiculous deal. And you take a look what's happening to Iran. There's riots all over the streets, all over the cities. It's a whole different ballgame. It's a whole different country. And it's looking real good. Looking real good. And we have recognized the capital of Israel and reopened the American embassy in Jerusalem.
We are only weeks away from President Trump's embargo on the Islamic Republic of Iran, which is expected to bring it to an end. And while the mainstream media continues to ignore the voice of the people of Iran, they continue to prop up the options of Reza Pahlavi and the Mujahideen. At InfoWars, we've been covering the Restart populist movement. We interviewed their leader, Syed Mohammed Hosseini, and today we bring you their story, the story of the Restart populist movement. From our research, this is the story of the people of Iran, and they want freedom. Please share this with everyone. If you want freedom and if you value freedom of speech, then it is only right for us to honor and respect and support others who want the same. Thank you for watching. This is Greg Reese with Infowars.com. The majority of Iranians are Persian, and yet the Islamic Republic of Iran has outlawed Persian culture. By the threat of violence, the people of Iran are forced into hiding who they really are. Their true identity has been made illegal by their own government, a government that dictates barbaric laws and imposes tyranny upon the law-abiding people of Iran. Often described as the Mullah Mafia, the Islamic Republic of Iran does not rule by the will of the people. This Bantam cabal relies upon two powerful weapons to maintain its control. The first is the bank. The regime controls the bank. The banks work against the people, steal money from the people's savings, and support international Islamic terrorism. And their second weapon is the Basij. The Basij is an omnipresent force within Iran. It is run by the Sepah, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard. Its members are trained to monitor and intimidate the people. Boys are encouraged in every school to join the Basij at a very young age. They are lured in with the promise of knowledge, but all they learn to do is harass and betray their own people. There are many who grow out of the Basij when they reach adulthood, but when they quit, then they become the target of harassment, and some are emotionally broken for having betrayed their own people. It is tragic. But the greatest crime in the Islamic Republic of Iran, by any Western standard, is their enslavement of women. Under Islamic law, an Iranian woman is considered to be only worth half a human life. She cannot get married without her father's permission. She cannot take a job without the permission of her father or her husband. And if her husband beats her, then it is always her fault. Marriage in Persian culture is very similar to marriage in Christian culture. A man and a woman vow their love to each other. It is sacred and monogamous. But this is outlawed in the Islamic Republic, and it is replaced with Islamic law. In Islamic law, the man controls the woman. She is considered his creature, and he can be married to 4 creatures at once. An Iranian woman cannot choose her own husband. She cannot follow her own heart. And even if the husband beats them, they need his permission for a divorce. And if she can somehow get her divorce, which is rare, then she loses custody of her own children and receives no benefit. If you are a girl born into a middle-class family, then you will have some sense of security, but you must always wear a hijab. Even the female athletes of Iran must wear a hijab. And if you are a girl among the 80% of the population who are born in a poor family, then you will have neither financial nor sexual security. There are many tragic stories of poor families selling their daughters and wives into prostitution for just enough money to buy food. And the city of Mashhad has been turned into a brothel where the regime sells young Iranian girls to Iraqi tourists. Their culture is being destroyed. Young men are being turned into traitors, and the women are being turned into slaves. There is no freedom of speech in Iran. If you speak out against the government, you can be arrested, imprisoned, and tortured. The extraordinarily cruel ideology of the Islamic Republic has nearly broken an entire generation of the Iranian people. And this is precisely why Syed Mohammed Hosseini, the leader of the Restart Iran movement, began rebuilding the spirit of his people. He posted a booklet online with instructions on personal health, strength training, and how to win a revolution. He taught them all to use aliases and to not be in groups of more than 2, so that if they were arrested and tortured, they wouldn't know anyone's name. And after having time to prepare themselves, they were issued a series of challenges. In May of 2017, Syed Mohammed issued the Paintball Challenge. The people were instructed to mark government buildings as targets of the people by throwing paintballs at them and tagging them with spray paint. Next was the Noise Bomb Challenge. Restart was instructed to set off fireworks at 9 p.m. on June 6, 2017, as a call for freedom and a symbolic act to awaken the minds of the people. The Challenge of Wisdom called upon Iranian celebrities to discuss the problems of the regime, but not a single one of them replied. And so soon after came the Swearing Challenge, where Restart was challenged to speak their feelings harshly to members of the regime and its puppet celebrities on social media. The objective was to break their egos and show them that the people were aware of their crimes. In the Rock Challenge, the people wrote Restart on rocks and threw them through windows of government buildings to show the regime that we are many and we are everywhere. In October of 2017, Syed Mohammed issued the Fire Challenge. The challenge was to burn down the Basij and the banks, but he also gave explicit instructions to not harm any living thing. And so while some of the fire challenges produced real damage, many of them amounted to a brave symbolic stand against tyranny. The Fire Challenge gave the people courage. After a lifetime of fearing the Islamic Republic, the people of Persia had rediscovered their birthright, freedom. The fire challenges spread and grew all the way into the Winter Uprising, when Syed Mohammed Husseini issued a threat to the Islamic Republic. He said that more than 30,000 Restart vendettas were already on the streets protecting the Iranian protesters, and many others were ready to join. He warned the Basij and Sepah to leave the millions of peaceful protesters alone. He gave them 48 hours to get off the streets and return home to protect their own families. Otherwise, he said, if you come to the streets to stand against your own people, then we will kill 120 of you. For 11 days, millions of Iranians took to the streets of cities all across the nation. And while it is estimated that 30 people were killed and hundreds were arrested, the uprisings ended with a promise of change. The people had overwhelmingly spoken. They were done with the mullahs' mafia regime. After the uprising, the regime outlawed the teaching of English. They called on Interpol to arrest the Restart leader, Syed Mohammed Husseini. And members of Restart went to the rooftops to blow horns across the nation as a symbol of victory and good news.
All right, and you can watch more of that report tomorrow. That'll be released tomorrow on Infowars.com, and we'll have an article. And if you want to see an interview that we did earlier this month, or I guess last month, full interview, meet the Donald Trump of Iran, whose movement has shot of reviving the Persian nation. So that is the leader of the Restart movement, who they're calling Iran's Donald Trump. Now, we'll be back with your calls, 888-201-2244, 888-201-2244, and we're going to look more into the death of Khashoggi and what did he know, and I guess when did he know it.
As the years go by, it gets harder and harder to keep up with your body's nutritional needs. With changes in diet, unnatural ingredients, and stress, you may not be able to get all the necessary nutrients, amino acids, vitamins, and minerals needed daily. That's why InfoWars Life created the powerful Vitamin Mineral Fusion formula. The new platinum standard of advanced multivitamin formulation, Vitamin Mineral Fusion uses a unique delivery system to maximize the effects and give your body the tools it needs to support your body. Using a proprietary process, we've managed to make this powerhouse formula into a delicious, concentrated drink mix that's loaded with high-quality ingredients. Perfect for a hot summer day or relaxing at home, Vitamin Mineral Fusion is loaded with 34 different essential vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and more. Start supporting your body's needs in a great-tasting, natural, and affordable drink mix with Vitamin Mineral Fusion today. Available at InfoWarsStore.com.
Guaranteeing your food independence is a crucial part of prepping. Between debt crisis, natural disasters, or even simple power outages, having a supply of storable meals is crucial. With InfoWars Life Select storable food, you can make sure you and your family are ready for any emergency. With drinks, snacks, and meals in amounts ranging from 72 hours to a full year, there's no better place to look for healthy, easy, and incredible meals. Including meals such as traveler stew, home-style potato soup, and a variety of other meals for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. InfoWars Life Select storable food will help you eat comfortably in a time of need. They even work great for camping. Simply pack a 72-hour kit to go and you have easy-to-cook and transport food for you and your loved one's trip. Don't be caught surprised by an emergency. Make sure you're stocked up today with all the food you need for an affordable price with InfoWars Life Select storable foods.
Welcome back to our Band 2018 midterm election coverage. I'm your host, Rob Dew. Thank you for joining me today. We'll be here till 10 p.m. Central. You can find the links to these streams at Infowars.com/show. We also have several articles throughout Infowars that have live stream links as well. So you can send those out to everybody you know. I believe one is titled Watch Our Band 2018 Midterm Coverage. You can find that in our scroller. But there's Infowars.com/show. Doesn't look like it changed over, though. That's interesting. No? Hey, you know what? Click on that all live shows. Let's see. Let's see if that's even playing. We don't want to put out any fake news. Oh, there it is. All right. So it is working. It just didn't do the transfer over. That's probably a little hiccup. Probably, you know, what's going to happen in a couple weeks, there's going to be, spring forward, fall back. We're going to fall back an hour. And that's going to create all kinds of weirdness throughout our scheduling, I guarantee, because some things do it, some things don't, some states do it. I think we need to get rid of it. I think it's hurting people's well-being and mindfulness. Just a quick poll out there. Do you guys like it when we spring forward or fall back? Yeah, it's lame. It messes with your sleep schedule, which is a prized possession that I don't have enough of. Causes depression, alcoholism, among other things. So looking at Khashoggi's death and the weirdness surrounding it, I started thinking, wow, who's another journalist that was killed? And I started thinking about Michael Hastings, because here was a guy who was very critical of the Obama administration and writing about things. And there's that CNN article, again, Saudis preparing to admit Jamal Khashoggi died during interrogation. I don't think he died. He was killed during interrogation. Can we just say that? Oh, they were asking him questions and he died. Drew, what color is the sky? Don't fall over. He died during interrogation. No, they killed him. He didn't die on his own.
They accidentally cut him up into pieces.
Yeah, they used the bone saw.
Traditional interrogation.
Traditional bone saw interrogation. So, but I'm going to look at Hastings, then I'm going to get to Zimmerman and zoom in on him a little bit, guys, on that camera, because he's going to have some information about this Apple Watch. So supposedly it's all taped to his Apple Watch, and that's where it all went up to the cloud. But Michael Hastings was a guy who thought the government was tracking him, and he had this really nice BMW. And there's some security footage of him driving down the road. You see it, and it's going really fast, 100 miles an hour. And then he hits a tree, and his car blows up, and the engine is ejected out of the car. Boom. Hey, find me something on Michael Hastings. I've got something from Mint Press News I'll give you. Of course, it doesn't give it. Was Michael Hastings targeted by the CIA? WikiLeaks reveals agency's covert carjacking ability. So at the time, I think it was 2013, late 2013, early 2014. There's the footage of him driving by, and then boom, there's the explosion. And so he did this 2010 profile on Stanley McChrystal about his partying with the NATO guys in Afghanistan. And he published right before he died, Why Democrats Love to Spy on Americans, which exposed the party's hypocrisy regarding some of the civil liberty overreaches they had criticized under Bush, but embraced under Obama. And he'd been investigating John Brennan on an upcoming expose. Well, we can't have that. Well, wouldn't that be interesting if some of the stuff that's about to come out on Brennan would have to do with Michael Hastings' death? Because there you see the car. You don't see much wrong. Like, he supposedly hit that tree and it caused the engine to eject, I think 100 yards, they said. See if you can find a quote on the engine, because the engine ejected out of that little BMW 100 yards. And we're supposed to take that. But then we got the WikiLeaks Vault 7 evidence. Oh, interesting. On this article here, Mint Press News, the YouTube video's gone. So what happens in the YouTube purge? Oh, we miss key evidence now. Now we can't see, although we just showed it. But look, there it is. Oh, doesn't exist anymore because YouTube made up something, probably said that this channel was hate news or something. Who knows? But there it is. It's gone. Can't have that. So Richard Clark, who's a counterterrorism expert, Richard A. Clark told the Huffington Post that the crash that killed Hastings was consistent with a car cyber crash. And then they go into this article how they do this. But the Vault 7 leaks came out. And WikiLeaks has some documents that confirm this technology existed in 2014. So that's when he died, 2014. And there's reason to believe the CIA was capable of hijacking vehicles as far back as the late 90s. They called it, the CIA called it Boston Brakes assassination technique. So they basically kill your brakes or rev your engine up high, cause you to drive into something. That's what those little black boxes are for. I mean, they're also there to help you diagnose what's wrong with your car, but then they can be hacked into.
I think the Toyota Prius did that for a while too.
Yeah.
Inadvertently.
So I'll bring that back up. I'll read that yellow part. There are several details regarding the crash. The possibility was a result of foul play. For instance, the car caused no damage to the median. There are no skid marks present. And the car made a sudden 60-degree turn into a palm tree. That's because it blew up and then it kind of coasted into the palm tree. I mean, we could figure that out. We actually had a reporter. We had our own footage that we went and shot down there. And you can see there's nothing wrong with the tree. There was like a little bitty burnt mark. So there's no way it hit that tree and then blew up. It blew up before it hit the tree. So it took the coroner 2 days to identify Hastings. At least he went out quickly. And at first his wife said, it's suspicious. And then I guess some people talked to her and she said, oh, no, it's not suspicious. Not suspicious at all. So then we have this journalist who's critical of his government, lives in Virginia, probably nowhere near CIA headquarters in Langley. You know, he'd been working with the Saudis, was their government mouthpiece, essentially. He was like the editor of their state-run media system. And he wants to get married. And so he goes to the consulate there and says, hey, I want to get married. And they said, oh, you got to go to Turkey to get your marriage papers. So he gets on a plane, flies to Turkey. And they go, no, come back in a week. We'll get your paperwork ready. Mind you, we have this thing called email, right? No, you can't have that. So he goes to London for a week and comes back, and then he goes missing. But he had his Apple Watch on. And so there's speculation about whether this Apple Watch could record this, whether they could retrieve it, what would all happen. So Apple Watch worn by Saudi journalists may have transmitted evidence of his death, Turkish paper reports. Michael Zimmerman, here's where you come in. Is this even possible?
I think it is possible. So the last generation of the Apple Watch and also the new ones have a cellular radio built into them, just like you have on your cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
So it can operate independently of your phone. It still links up with it. But they were saying in these reports that his phone was in another room. But that wouldn't be an issue if this was a watch that was also connecting to cellular on its own. So he could have been streaming the audio live or recorded a clip and it backed up to his phone remotely or to his iCloud account in China. So I think this is definitely a possibility. And if they're claiming that they have this, it'll be interesting to see if this comes out in the next few days.
It'll definitely be interesting. I'm sure Apple's not going to say a word. They're going to pretend like they're not involved.
Well, murdered journalist, huh?
We don't care about that. I mean, we murder journalists every day in the internet. What do we care if one dies in real life?
Politically, yeah. We'll just take you off the air.
So, but I think the big thing is the U.S. supposedly knew he was being watched by the Saudis and they wanted to kidnap him, yet they didn't tell him. So that makes you wonder, did he know something about maybe CIA people working with the Saudis during 9/11 or some other deal, maybe in Yemen? Who knows? So they just like, let's let him get taken. The Saudis want to render this guy anyway. Let's let him render him, and we could go on about our merry way. So it'll be interesting to see if this kills Trump's multi-billion-dollar arms deal with the Saudis, because that's what everybody's asking. Oh, is this going to kill the deal? And Trump's like, well, wait a minute. Maybe we'll do something. You know, he's pissed off about the price of oil right now. He's talked about that. He should be pissed off about these interest rates going up and how that's trying to kill his economy. And maybe he should do a little auditing of the Fed. Maybe that's what we get in a second term. Maybe we get auditing of the Fed, or maybe if he wins the midterms. All right, I got a couple callers. I got Pastor Sam in Texas and Zero in Virginia. 888-201-2244, 888-201-2244. Let's go to Pastor Sam. How's it going, sir?
Going very well. Good to talk to you, Rob. It's easy to forget that the first real battle of World War II happened in South America. I really wanted to visit the wreck of the Graf Spee, and I had to preach the whole time, so I didn't get to do that. But right now there's all these rumblings going on down there, and we need to not miss it because it affects us, and this is where global war is beginning.
All right, so you say this is the first battle of World War II was fought in South America?
Yes, it's the famous Battle of the River Plate, and a horrific German weapon, which they constructed in violation of all treaties, named the Admiral Graf Spee, they say in German, and it had been going around the Atlantic causing chaos and blowing things up, and finally the British cornered it down there, and they had a naval battle. But that's all history. Right now, there's rumblings. There are Trumpist presidents being elected in this country, in this country, in this country. And a lot of those countries are really in civil war, to include the nations that are sending a lot of migrants to the United States. So some of the presidents are standing with Trump, like Jimmy Morales in Guatemala. He was, by the way, the first other nation beyond the United States to move their Israeli embassy to Jerusalem. That was Jimmy Morales. And he was elected in 2015 before Trump. So, see, the Trump revolution really started down there. It started in Chile, it started in Paraguay, it started in Guatemala, and then the United States elected Trump. But now Pence is meeting with all these presidents, and there's a lot of rumblings. It's very interesting. It's dropped off of the Drudge for today, but right now, out of Honduras, there's supposed to be a whole new migrant caravan, and the pictures of that are on the net. 1,000 or 1,400 people are going to march through Guatemala and through Mexico and come and find asylum. Now, there's a president there that we can depend on, and he was elected just recently under controversy, but that's Juan Orlando Hernandez, and Hillary and her people have been trying to remove him. And these presidents are fighting also against the UN. The UN's trying to remove Jimmy Morales out of Guatemala. He had to make a decree just a few days ago that he was not going to follow their instructions anymore, the UN Anti-Corruption Committee, because they're biased and they're prejudiced. He went and surrounded their compound in army jeeps as he made the declaration. So the things that we talk about could happen here with Hillary Clinton, with martial law, et cetera, they're happening to our neighbors, and the rumblings are coming closer and closer and closer. It's very interesting to watch.
You know, here's another interesting thing, because you look at, we seem to know more about European news, especially, you know, Britain and Germany, you know, kind of EU type news, than we do about South America, and Central America. We know a little bit about Mexico because they're our neighbor. We look at the corruption and drugs, but why is that, you know, if you ask people who Bolsonaro is, if you asked him who he was, I would say probably 90%, 95% of the American population doesn't know who this guy is. And he's probably going to be elected president of Brazil.
We hope.
Yeah. Are you hearing anything about that with his second round? When are we having the second round of voting?
It's October 28th, so it's later this month. But he only has to pick up 1 out of 5 swing votes because he had 46% of the vote, and he only needs to get to 50. And his opponent only had like 26%. So he was like 19% ahead of his opponent. And so that's the math. He only has to pick up 1 out of 5 swing votes. They have more than 30 political parties in Brazil. And I was shocked. I did a YouTube just on Jair Bolsonaro. It's interesting and it's concise if you're interested in that. And
what's the title of it?
You have to just find it under my name, Samuel Honnold Samuel, on YouTube, and then it'll come right up with the Brazilian flag.
Well,
and that's it.
You seem to do a lot of traveling down south of the border, of our southern border.
You know,
why are they letting these migrant trains come up through? You know, why are they going through Guatemala? Why are they going through Mexico? Nobody's stopping them at their borders.
Because there's civil war. See, there's this president. Let's go to Guatemala, okay? That country controls the isthmus. It goes all the way across. The only 2 Central American countries that don't are Belize and El Salvador. El Salvador is the cause of a lot of problems right now. Their president was included in Pence's discussion, and even though he's a former guerrilla that grew up to be president, hopefully he'll calm things down. But Guatemala is in civil war. There's a UN anti-corruption commission that's trying to cast down on the election and get this president out that is draining the swamp and doing well. And it's gotten so serious that he had to send 20 military vehicles to surround the UN headquarters. You know, if you go to his Twitter page, there's an April 23rd tweet, and his Twitter is it's his name, which is it is his name, Jimmy Morales, and then GT, Golf Tango. That's Guatemala. Jimmy Morales, GT. And if you go down to April 23rd on his Twitter feed, he plays the video of the UN breaking into his presidential palace with a fake warrant. And it's all on there with English subtitles. So this is the degree of fighting. He has got a deep state that's trying to send migrants, that's trying to get the UN in control, that's fighting him for the control of his own government apparatus, his own military and police organizations.
So basically the chaos in that country right now is just allowing routes, human smuggling routes to appear. So they're just kind of funneling them through into Mexico.
That's right. And Mexico has its own deep state. And Mexico just elected Mao Zedong to be their president. He is an avowed socialist, AMLO, they call him. He's an avowed socialist. The Pope stopped preaching when he was in Rome and stopped what he was doing and gave him a medal and said, "You are a missionary of the Catholic Church." And he's in with the Pope. He's in with the UN. He's in with China. He's going to bring China in to do all kinds of things. And so the deep state has won that election. Now, time will tell if Trump stands up and casts doubt on that, because it was the globalist organizations that have confirmed the last 2 or 3 fraudulent elections in Mexico. Maybe Trump will stand up and say, "I'm not so sure about that. We're going to take another look at this election." Now, in the UN, some of these presidents, most notably of Chile and of Peru, they stood up at the UN and said, "We don't recognize the Venezuelan election. We don't recognize that this government is legitimate. We refuse to recognize it, and we contradict the results of that election. So that's beginning to happen. And now there are some organizations out there like the Organization of American States and the IMF, which are basically globalists, but they're beginning to move in the right direction. And I think Trump's putting pressure here and there.
Mm-hmm.
That's my synopsis, that he put pressure on the IMF and said, you go and you bail out the Argentine peso because the Fed caused the problem by raising the interest rates. That's our ally. That's a conservative president. He's trying to sail through stormy seas. So
and these are decades-old issues where they loan them money for these big public works projects, and then they come in and go, well, you can't pay this loan back. Oh, it's too much interest, huh? Well, now you're going to work with us on these trade deals or vote our way on this and that, or we're going to just remove you from power, which is what you see happens time and time again.
Yes, sir. That's what the IMF is known for. And the Argentinians aren't completely behind this, but he's coming out. Hillary Clinton's spiritual twin was the president of Argentina. And then she got to be the senator. And now she's under prosecution for being in cahoots with Hezbollah, blowing things up, blowing up Jewish centers, 200 dead, each of 2 different occasions. So now she's very close to facing the music for that. But there's this own civil war in Argentina also. A good Trumpist president, Mauricio Macri. And he's doing great things, but he's got so much pension debt. There's so much wobble. He's got enemies within the central bank. So we really need to watch that. And as you're standing in Argentina, it's just over the horizon, the wreck of the Graf Spee. The wreck of the Graf Spee is right there. And in 1939, Hitler was invading Poland. He was attacking France, and Americans didn't really care. But then when the British Navy got in this massive gun battle in the Atlantic, lost soldiers, all of a sudden it was in the Americas, but it happened in South America. It's so easy to ignore. We need to be watching these signs, Rob. We need to be watching it. The info warriors need to watch it. We need to publicize it. There's only 2,000 views of Jimmy Morales' help method of the UN invading his White House.
No, it is amazing how the news cycle doesn't even focus on what's going on in South and Central America and just kind of pretends that these places don't exist when they are our neighbors. We're connected by land all the way down, if you count unless you count the Panama Canal. But yeah, there it is right now. Jimmy Morales on his Twitter, April 23rd. So he's got the UN cars coming in, trying to serve him with a warrant. And it is amazing that this goes on in our neck of the woods. And we seem to be, more concerned about what's going on in Russia, or, we should be concerned about China, because China is coming in. They're going to be coming into Mexico with more money and more infrastructure projects like they're doing in Africa, because they're trying to wrap up these resources for their empire. And there are resources in South America and in Central America that we could use. You look at Venezuela. It's got more oil, probably more oil than we do. They just don't know how to produce it, and they don't have the capabilities. But there's no reason a country like that should be, having their people eat the zoo animals. But that's what we have going on. Pastor Sam, thanks for that history lesson and geopolitical insight of what's going on in South and Central America. So we do need to be able to look at, you guys pulled up a Daily Caller article about the caravan coming up from Honduras. If y'all can pull that up one more time, I'll read that out to people. And then we'll see if we can get to zero before we go to our next break. Do you have that article from Daily Caller? Okay. All right, well, let's bring up zero from Virginia. Here it is. Huge migrant caravan forms in Honduras with aim of reaching U.S. borders. So that's going to be the next big crisis here as they jump on the beast and make the way up through Mexico. So let's go to zero in Virginia. How are you doing tonight?
How you doing there, Rob?
Doing good. What's going on?
I'd just like to quickly state that, yes, if you're receiving this transmission, you are part of the revolution and the resistance at the same time, because you had to fight all kinds of algorithms and bots to get through this. And if you're actually within the warrior ranks and you're actually already been awakened, they're targeting you more, because it took me a while, and through a graceful staff member of yours actually helped me get through to a place where I can actually watch your show, because I'm actually calling tonight because I may not have misheard something from Owen Shorter that he you may or may not heard from Alex Jones. Yes, it's more or less hearsay, but be in attendance for these live shows because Alex Jones may pack it up. And this is why I'm calling tonight, to be in attendance for the radio show, to be in attendance for the live broadcast on the Mozilla Firefox that I'm using instead of Chrome because it will not load on Chrome.
You know, that doesn't surprise me because we are getting censored by Google variants like YouTube. So it doesn't surprise me if they're also wreaking havoc on other systems. So you're watching us on Firefox right now?
Yes, I'm using Mozilla Firefox, and thank you very much, crew member. I apologize for not remembering your name.
Hey, let me ask you this. You have General Shepard on your thing. You're not the General Shepard on YouTube, are you?
No. I am Cursed Zero. I am also Darth Neo YLK on Facebook. I am not General Shepard, but I would like to thank General Shepard, and I am wondering what happened to General Shepard because he has not broadcasted anything today.
Well, I would like to thank him too. You know what? We're going to come back from break. We're going to pull up, see if we can even find General Shepard on YouTube because he keeps getting erased for posting Alex Jones videos, which is a no-no in the new world. You can't post anything unless Google says.
After the success of Alpha Power, we decided to make a new powerhouse vitality formula built with the female biochemistry in mind. After searching for the incredible ingredients to meet those needs, we're proud to bring you Ultimate Female Force. All Info Warriors know how important keeping up with their vitality truly is. With all the changes to diets, stress, and other outside forces, keeping your metabolism and well-being up is getting more difficult. That's why Ultimate Female Force is such a powerhouse formula. Together with Super Female Vitality or by itself, Ultimate Female Force is just what you need to help boost your metabolism and support your physical and mental energy levels. With the powerful root-based formula, Ultimate Female Force can help you reach your true peak potential. Don't wait to see what you can really do. Show the world what true female power looks like with Ultimate Female Force at InfoWarsStore.com.
The Real Red Pill Plus, ladies and gentlemen. Our team is constantly on the lookout for newer and better ways to improve our products. That's why we're bringing you a brand new version of one of the newest fan favorite products, the Real Red Pill Plus. The Real Red Pill Plus is an all-new version of the powerhouse pregnenolone product. It features the same great formula that supports your heart, brain, healthy aging process with an all-new natural caffeine boost included. A powerful pregnenolone base, the Real Red Pill, has quickly become one of our fellow InfoWarriors' favorite products. Now, with an extra proprietary energy blend inside, including green tea extract, yerba mate leaf extract, and more, you can get that extra pick-me-up while supporting your mind and body in a healthy way. It's got all the great stuff that Real Red Pill has, but it's also got the boost in it. Get the Real Red Pill Plus at InfoWarsStore.com.
Welcome back to our final hour of the Band 2018 midterm coverage. I do have a show note for tomorrow. I believe Alex Jones will be hosting. And tomorrow night is also when Beto and Cruz are going to have, I guess, maybe their final debate. They're supposed to have 3, but I know Cruz kept getting called back up to D.C. to discuss Kavanaugh and vote on Kavanaugh. So I don't know if I know he missed a town hall that CNN then gloriously gave all to Beto. If you're running around Austin here, you'd think that Beto is going to win in a landslide. So they will face off for a second time. We're going to have highlights from that. Harrison Smith's going to be watching it. We're going to be cutting out clips. And then during the show sometime, I think it'll be done by 9. So that last hour, we'll be going over clips and what happened in that debate as we go over this Band 2018 midterm coverage. This is what we're doing in addition to our 10 hours a day that we provide to you at Infowars.com/show free of charge. We send it to stations. It's all free. It's free to air on radio, on TV. And if you go to Infowars.com/show, that is the free stream that you can send out to everybody. And we don't even care. Alex has said this. He said, you could take all our ads. We don't care. Because why? Because during the show, we might throw in a plug here and there to tell people how they can support us. Because it is the only way that we do get support is from people out there watching us. So if you go to InfoWarsStore.com, you can check out some of the amazing deals. And right now, we're probably having our biggest sale of the year because we're not sure how long we're going to have our payment processors because they've started to go after those. It wasn't enough censoring him off the web because then people still wanted to see what he had to say. Now they're going after the supply chain. So right now, 50% off all InfoWars Life products. Please bring that back up. And free shipping. So you got Real Red Pill Plus, Alpha Power, Survival Shield, Brain Force, Bodies, Ultimate Bone Broth, Happies, X2 BioTrue Selenium Combo Pack, Secret 12, Knockout, great sleep aid. The toothpaste, Super Blue, with iodine and no fluoride in it. It's pretty amazing. It's hard to find fluoride-free toothpaste, especially when you go to the dentist. Dentist is all ready to put that rat poison all over your mouth, tell you it's good for your teeth, just like they throw it not even rat poison quality in your water supply and tell you it's for your teeth, yet it goes in your stomach. I didn't know you had teeth in your stomach. You must have teeth in your stomach that your water municipalities are concerned about because that's why they put fluoride in there for your teeth, right? Yet it goes in your stomach. I guess unless you're washing your hands and it's all over your hands. So anyway, check that out, InfoWarsStore.com. It is how you support us. And right now, some of our best deals, plus there's free shipping on everything in the store. We're also, you can pick up water filters, air filters, storable food, T-shirts, other types of camping and survival supplies. It's all there at InfoWarsStore.com. And it's your purchase that supports everything we do. That's it. So let's go back to Zero in Virginia. I wanted to talk about General Shepard. Guys, you had General Shepard's YouTube page. This is the guy who's just been kind of fanatically grabbing Alex Jones clips and putting them up on his channel. And they've been pulled down. I was getting emails from him saying, hey, I've had 4 channels pulled down, but I'm still posting your stuff. So let's pull that up full screen right now. He's got the full show from Friday up there 3 days ago, and we have yet to see anything else. He has to keep pulling up and getting new subscribers as they pull him down. So he's only up on, 3,700 subscribers, but it's the act of resistance. It's the act of saying, you know what? You are not going to stop us because there's probably 500 General Shepards out there on YouTube right now that are going to keep posting this material. But you notice the pieces that are making fun of Alex, those stay on and they go to the top and they get promoted. But anything that Alex is actually saying, anything in context, oh no, you can't watch that. It's banned. It's fake news. And I saw this article. Did I print it out? I wonder if I printed this article out because I saw today that Facebook, see if y'all can find this. Facebook is going to not allow misinformation. They're going to be telling you what is misinformation during the midterm election. It won't allow misinformation. See, it's look up Facebook misinformation. It came out today. It was in the Drudge Report. But Zero, go ahead. What were you going to say about General Shepard?
I was just basically going to give a shout out to General Shepard because he is the only one that I have found recent times, but I have found one more that did Sunday's broadcast and today's broadcast, which was what I was looking for. But there's something wrong. I haven't seen him since Friday, and no, I am not General Shepard, but I want to give a shout out to General Shepard because he's the only way that I'm able to actually rebroadcast as well. Because I take few certain shows and I take little clips that I do with what technology I'm allowed to have to make something on my YouTube channel as well. There's a few full shows, there's a few little clips.
Mm-hmm. And every little bit helps. I mean, even if it's just Alex talking about one specific subject, it's those little, what we used to call freedom nuggets that go out there and, you can't stop freedom when it's in nugget form, I believe is what they used to say here in Austin, Texas. And you can't stop it. The truth will come out. It doesn't matter. We've got people to this day still making reports about the gay frogs and how they're real. So Alex saying gay frogs motivated a bunch of people to go look this up and say he's got to be full of it and then go, whoa, he's absolutely right. It's atrazine. Go ahead.
Exactly. The irrefutable stacks upon stacks upon stacks upon stacks upon stacks, and I'll stop here for redundancy and exaggeration of evidence that we have against what we're going against in this spiritual, mental, physical war. Words of prodigy, excuse me.
No, that is what's going on. Here's that article from Reuters. Let me ask you what you think about this. Exclusive, Facebook to ban misinformation on voting in upcoming U.S. elections. Facebook will ban false information about voting requirements and fact check fake reports of violence or long lines at polling stations. So apparently there's this rash of violence and long lines at polling stations, which, you know, I guess if somebody has video of people getting beat up or intimidated, which I've seen video of this, people talking about how they were intimidated from going into the polling place. There were guys standing outside. Oh, Facebook's going to say, no, that's fake news. We're not going to allow that. They want to reduce voter manipulation on its service.
I personally don't, but I believe it's wrong. Like everybody says, it is wrong to suppress speech in any way because we are in the land of freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of religion.
Well, what about all those accounts Facebook just banned? They said they were violating spam rules, even though people had liked their page and they were sending it to people who had liked their page and wanted information.
The only technical thing I can state is to move to a non-data mining source, such as maybe Minds or MeWe, to make MeWe better. MeWe is another good one, but right now it is intolerable. It is too much explicit content. We need more intelligent people on MeWe because MeWe's actual broadcast is #NotForSale, which basically states that they do not data mine you. They do not do anything to you, just as Minds, most likely, Minds.com is as well. It's MEWE.com. We need more intellectual minds on this social media platform as well.
Or we need less people on social media in general and people going out and talking to each other. I think that sometimes helps
true.
even more.
We need reality breakers. We need matrix breakers. We need to get out of this reality that we are in and get back to reality where logic is actually working. We are in reality right now where logic, it doesn't work in this reality that we are in right now.
Totally agree. Thanks for your call. Zero in Virginia. Let's go to Alex in Michigan. Once again, that number is 888-201-2244, 888-201-2244. Let's go to Alex. How's it going tonight?
Hey, Rob. How's it going, man?
It's going good. Is this Ninja Alex?
Yes, indeed. I'm almost unpersoned on YouTube. I have 2 strikes.
And what did you get your strikes for?
Both Alex Jones related. First was Alex Jones talking about the Sandy Hook lawsuit, just explaining his side of the story.
Oh, he can't have
the
that.
Other one, oh no, nope, can't have another side of the story. And then the other one was just Alex's message to Google, which I thought was just like a friendly message to the Google staff, like, hey, your company.
You're working with evil, essentially. You're working with evil. Look at what you're doing. Stop. Some of your engineers are coming forward. More people need to come forward. That's basically what he said, right?
Yeah, your Dragonfly programs and Skynet programs that your traitorous heads of the company decided to move to China instead of the U.S. You know, I liked Steve Buchanek today. That was a good chat him and Alex had.
That was, and Alex stayed on a little extra to talk with him. What do you think about the head of Google being sent questions by the Senate Intelligence Committee, and they're not going to answer anything? They're like, "Look, dude, we own you. We do what we want."
They are the Intelligence Committee. Like they run they run everything. So like, of course, they're going to laugh at their subordinates trying to get them to a meeting. So it's
sure. Yeah.
I have one thing to say too. Can I plug your products real quick?
Yeah, man, go ahead.
Yeah, I just bought a bunch for the 50% off super sale. I stocked up on my X2. Like I always plug that every time I call. Then also the Real Red Pill Plus I think is underrated because if ever I need energy like to work out or whatever, I take 4 of those bad boys and I'm good to go. Especially if I'm drinking coffee. I mean that's good for a workout right there.
Well, it's already it has some caffeine at the Real Red Pill Plus. I know we added that to it. Some I think it's yerba mate. Pull up the ingredients. Let's see what's on there. It's the energy boost. Yeah. Along with the pregnenolone, which is the kind of the building blocks of bringing. What is it? My eyes are so bad. I'm trying to read this small type. Go to additional info. There we go. Oh, I can't read that. They're trying to pull up the words right now. Hey, so how are you watching us, Alex?
Gibson on Periscope. I just pulled it up. He was giving me a feed. I probably shouldn't even say it.
I think what they do is monitor the site, and they see if we're posting something, they're like, oh, this must be theirs. We're going to kill it.
Yeah.
Because we've had people, when we posted their live streams of stuff, they would say, nope, that's InfoWars, and it's not us. And we would get other channels banned. So, yeah, it's probably better that you don't say it. You just enjoy it and maybe send it out amongst your group of friends. Because they seem to don't mind if somebody else is streaming us as long as it's not on InfoWars. So they have people definitely watching. They have Imperial probe droids surrounding us at this point. They're watching every move we make. And that's fine.
Oh, yeah.
That's fine. We have nothing to hide.
Imperial droids have entered the base. Also,
Exactly.
I love your work, like your work personally, Rob, exposing the vaccine, big pharma industries. I love that guest you had recently, the lady talking about the stem cell treatments. That's really
that's
awesome.
Lori Gregory. She's a pretty amazing person.
And then every time I come on, too, I used to, because I study mushrooms, I love just nature, mushrooms and plants, and mushrooms are really awesome, too. Kind of like a poor man's DNA force, in my opinion. You got the immune wall, and you got those in the DNA force, I think, too, right?
We even have a coffee blend with, I think it's reishi mushroom, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
We have an immune boost formula of our coffee, which I love our coffee. I think our coffee is some of the best in the world. When I drink coffee anywhere else, I'm like, ugh, junk. And ours is awesome, but we do have a regular and an immune boost system. See if y'all can pull that up. I think it's called the immune blend, but it has a couple different types of mushroom in it. But yeah, mushroom is a poor man's immune wall. It is a DNA force. Do we even sell the immune one anymore? Maybe we don't.
The cordyceps mushroom and the reishi mushroom, those are both really great. Tonic herbs. If you can
there
find
it is, the immune support blend. That's what it's called, the immune support blend. And we have that from time to time in the office. In fact, it's probably time to bring it out again because it just turned really cold here. And now you're going to have people walking around sniffling. When it's not allergies, you're going to have colds. And, of course, hopefully nobody here took their flu shot if they're listening to me. They would not be getting their flu shot because it is a dangerous thing to do. Alex, thank you for calling. I want to go to this video now that John Bound produced. Freedom of the press on Death Watch. And that is exactly what we're seeing right now. What we just heard from Alex, what we heard from Zero earlier. They're having to go to different sources to get this information that they used to just go to our channels and see. And it's because we've been deemed enemies of, I guess, corporate media. And so we had to be silenced because we don't carry the message lockstep like MSNBC or CNN does, because their only allegiance is to giant pharmaceutical companies and giant war-making, I guess, entities, the military-industrial complex and big pharma, and other giant corporate entities that want to steer everything into a homogenized, unified message, which is something akin to 1984. And that's something that we're against. We like individuals. We like freedom. We like liberty. So here's that report from John Bound.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
Freedom of the press is taking a beating worldwide in 2018, while American independent media is under a full-on attack, the likes of which has never been seen before in American history. The vague moniker of fake news is being used to imprison and even murder journalists.
Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud. He's a 33-year-old crown prince that they are pushing to the limit. He's cleaning up that country because that country is despicable. That country has had some major problems, and he's made it clear that he's going to clean it up. So what better thing to do than just throw a wrench into the works? It's sabotage. It's a problem. It has a lot to do with the midterm elections. We're not happy about it. We're really not happy about it. What could be said about Jamal Ahmed Khashoggi that hasn't already been said about Seth Rich? It's a big problem. The story he was working on proves the motivation. These are the type of stories that gets InfoWars deplatformed.
In Myanmar, while investigating a massacre of Rohingya Muslims, 2 Reuters journalists, Wa Lone and Kyaso U, were imprisoned for 7 years under an ancient law known as the Official Secrets Act, now revamped under the guise of fake news. Under Section 505B of the Myanmar Penal Code, a colonial-era law banning publication of incorrect information that could cause fear or alarm to the public, the Myanmar Myanmar government is attempting to cover up evidence of ethnic cleansing and severe human rights abuses.
So you do agree that there were more Republicans than Democrats?
I didn't say that, but I do agree.
Well, you can't have it both ways, sir. It's either 50-50 or one side is disproportionately affected, and the allegation is that more Republicans were affected.
Well, we don't always have the best methods to determine who is a Republican and who is a Democrat.
Do you discriminate more on philosophy, like anti-conservative versus pro-liberal?
No. Our policies and our algorithms don't take into consideration any affiliation, philosophy, or viewpoint.
That's hard to stomach. We wouldn't be having this discussion if there wasn't a general agreement that your company has discriminated against conservatives, most of whom happen to be Republican.
I believe that we have found impartial outcomes, and those are what we intend to fix and continue to measure.
And back in America, social media overlords Jack Dorsey and Mark Zuckerberg went all in on silencing independent media. In a purge of over 800 pages and over 251 accounts, sweeping up independent media pages with millions of followers that were holding political corruption, police brutality, Second Amendment rights, and a host of other topics accountable that had been ignored or sanitized by corporate media. Sites affected by the purge, like the Free Thought Project, Anti-Media, and Press for Truth, offer fact-based sourced content that threatens the corrupt Democratic Party, attempting to silence our founding principles in order to win in November. If this isn't election meddling by the liberal-based Twitter and Facebook Goliaths, and racketeering by the corporate media that benefits from destroying its competition, then what is? If Congress continues to sit on its hands, then the First Amendment is essentially null and void in the United States. As an American, your vote this November could steer the United States into a wounded republic or a draconian leftist nightmare. John Bound reporting.
A draconian leftist nightmare where we have people like NBC putting out articles saying, the president called Robert E. Lee awesome. He said he was incredible. So they said incredible when he was talking about Ulysses S. Grant. He did say Lee was a great general. Can't say that. He was fighting for slavery. Shut up, racist. All right, we've got a couple callers here. Got California from Indiana and Jesse from Philly. So let's go to California from Indiana.
Hey,
how you doing, California? That's a long name. What's that? Go ahead.
I'm doing well, man. Good evening to all my InfoWars out there. Hey, I just want to bring up a couple points. I remember a few years back, you guys had a pastor on, and he had that 10 Commandments contest where he was paying like $10,000 if you could recite the 10 Commandments. But he started a YouTube alternative way back when, and he gave it to you guys, but I don't know what you guys ever did with it. May look into that and see if you guys could revamp that up. And then also, I did a search on YouTube for just Alex Jones the other day on my phone, and I mean, it's just nothing but mainstream YouTube channels with their brands on each channel, just page after page after page of them bashing, Jones, and then he has no way to defend himself. So I got a screenshot of that. I could send it to Show Tips at InfoWars, but I mean,
are you on Twitter? You can send it to me on Twitter, and I'll show it to everybody right now. If you're on Twitter.
Yeah, and I got a Samsung Galaxy phone, so I can do a screen capture, and then just keep capturing the page after page, and it stitches it together. But I'll send that to you over on Twitter.
Yeah, do that, and I'll show everybody that, because that is, and we're showing it right now as well. It is, YouTube has become a corporate whorehouse, is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and they put Joe Rogan in there, and it's like, well, we put Joe Rogan in there. He's independent. Joe Rogan's kind of corporate, I'd say.
I'm pretty disappointed in Joe. But hey, one last thing. Besides suing the pants off of all these tech companies, and I think you should sue Lester Holt personally. One way you guys could fund yourself is to go analog, go retro. With all your new stations and people listening on the radio, you guys should do like a Jerry Lewis telethon where people can call in and pledge and donate, money. And then I think even have some, that United First comedian, huge pianist, or have, Ted Nugent just do a solo, or just have some instead of a InfoWars money bomb, you can go online, but still go analog, man, and just reach the people that are listening to the radio or on the cable news TV.
Right.
And,
no, that is definitely something we can do. I mean, we do those money bombs, and we're going to have, I guess, on November 6th, we'll be doing our overnight coverage, which ends up being about 34 hours of coverage. And, there is something to say about, the telethon, which is sort of an old school type of mentality where we're going to talk about it for a while, and then we're going to do the telethon, and then everybody's going to call in and pledge, and it's going to create all these things, kind of the Jerry Lewis model. And then the way we kind of do it is just every day is sort of like a telethon, because every day we need people to, call in, place orders, send us tips, promote the show through their networks, because this is really the only way news is getting out. Like Pastor Sam giving his dissertation there on Central and South America, you're not going to hear that stuff anywhere. Maybe a little bit on Democracy Now!, but it'll be like praising the communists. That would be the only thing they'd be praising, even though they'd be talking about it, what's going on. But they'd be like, oh, who's the guy in Venezuela? The dictator there, Maduro? They'd be like, oh, he's such a great guy. He needs more steak. By the way, we just made a fresh pot of that InfoWars coffee. My God, this is good. Did you put anything extra in it? You just put milk in this? Man, it's awesome. Yeah, Drew said he put some special stuff in there. Yeah, California, I totally agree with you. We do need these kind of special events where we do bring in people. I know Billy Corgan's a fan of Alex's. We haven't seen him in a while. I think a lot of people are seeing the heat Alex is getting. And this happened with Roseanne, and she didn't really have a way to defend herself because she didn't have her own kind of media system. So she puts out a tweet. People blow it out of proportion, turn it into something that it wasn't. And instead of looking at what she wanted to do is call out Valerie Jarrett and the Iran deal. Notice that never got talked about. It got turned into Ambien and being drunk and, oh, you just made a stupid mistake, and, oh, we're going to take your show away. Well, now ABC is going to lose that show because, the Connors is not going to do anything on TV. People aren't going to watch it. They're going to protest. And it's unfortunate because I don't think those people are bad people. They're just caught in the middle of this. So how the Connors moves on without fierce and fired matriarch Roseanne. Yeah, they're not going to move on. And it's funny, though, they are going to kill her off using pharmaceuticals. So Big Pharma is going to kill off Roseanne, and then they're going to go on their merry way. Anything else you want to add? How'd you get the name California?
Oh, I used to have long hair, so they call me California. It's just a moniker. It's just a moniker I go by. Hey, man, I ran into Millie Weaver and her husband at the Trump rally here in Evansville, Indiana, and that they're both trekking across the country, man. You guys should load them up with InfoWars gear. So I was there passing out bumper stickers, but they could be passing out just the InfoWars street team. They could be passing out, literature and bumper stickers all across this country. And
well, I hear you. Cool. It's the organization. And if they were passing out bumper stickers, then they wouldn't be doing their amazing reports, because that's right. Where Millie is amazing. I mean, I remember last year or 2 years ago during the lead up to the election in 2016, she got your old governor, in Ohio. She got the old guy, Strickland, Mr. Strickland. She got him, and he thought, oh, he's going to talk to some nice, pretty girl, and he's going to answer these questions. And she starts throwing things back at him, and he's like, what? And he had this short circuit because he thought he was in a comfortable, safe space, and he was asked real questions, and he folded like an old chair. So, yeah, Millie and Gavin are doing a great job. They're also traveling, with their son. We tried to play a report earlier. I think we do have another longer Millie report I might play after the break coming up. It's a little bit longer one, and it's about how to red pill people. Although, of course, there's probably some cursing in that. I'll try to scream over any words that might come out so we can do that. Let's go. Thanks for calling, California. Appreciate it. And, hey, man, you do some street teaming. Get out there, and thanks for passing out bumper stickers. I really appreciate it. Let's go to Jesse in Philly. Go ahead, Jesse. We got about 2.5 minutes before we go to break.
Hey, what's up, Rob? How's it going, man?
It's going good, brother. How's the Philly cheesesteak there in Philly?
Not so much cheesesteak, man. I'm a Walmart driver, and on on the job, working, making some pickups.
Yeah.
Driving around, making money, listening to you guys.
Cool. That's good. Killing two birds with one stone.
Two birds with one stone, man. I don't go a day without the InfoWars, you know?
Excellent. So what's going on in Philly? I hear there's a big Antifa presence in Philly.
Man, well, I've heard a lot about that going on with you guys and stuff, and the whole what's that awesome black girl's name? They got
Candace Owens.
She was in a restaurant. Candace Owens. Yeah, I heard about all that, but I personally haven't seen much. I kind of just keep to the highways and.
And Candace Owens should put a business card that just says Candace Owens, awesome black girl,
Dude,
or awesome black woman.
Talk about intelligent, man. She's very highly intellect. But no, I was calling her. First, I wanted to kind of, I guess, just do a little plug, really, man. I used to be a big Adderall guy, man, back in the day, and I'm sure some fans that are on listening now probably can relate to this a little bit. And, I kind of went down the wrong road with that stuff and had a hard time coming off of it, man. And I will say this, the X2 and your brain force, now it's still a battle, but I'm off everything. I don't take any more prescription drugs. I've been taking y'all stuff off and on, man, probably over the past. Well, I've been taking your products probably the past 2-3 years, but the past year and a half, it's really helped me a lot.
Let me ask you this. Were you on prescription drugs that were prescribed to you, or were you getting these prescription drugs extemporaneously?
I was prescribed. I was taking the 30 milligram Adderall, the instant release or whatnot, and
instant focus for all night work, right?
Yeah.
Or gaming or watching videos on YouTube, whatever you can keep your mind occupied with. Hey, I'm going to hold you over. I'll let you finish up on the other side of the break because I don't mind talking to people for a while. We got kind of this long form thing going with just a couple breaks an hour. So we're going to come back. We're going to have half an hour left, and we're going to watch some video of Millie red pilling people. Should be interesting, so stay tuned.
Stress is a natural part of life. Work, family, friends, and everyday accidents can put a lot of strain on the body and your mood. Don't let life weigh you down. Happies is a powerful mood and stress support formula that has your back against life's daily inconveniences. Made with ancient ingredients used for thousands of years, Happies can help you take back the day. With our powerhouse formula, Happies can be an important part of your daily supplement routine. With poor diet and the constant on and off of your work life, it's more important than ever to support your body in the fight against stress. With powerful ingredients combined to help support the mind and body, Happies helps support during stress, promotes overall well-being, and helps support your mood. Don't live your life bogged down. Help your body overcome the effects of daily stress and pressure today with Happies from InfoWarsStore.com.
It's really hard to have the energy at the end of the day to still get to the gym or to go for a run or go to the park or heck, even take your dog for a walk. Believe me, I know. I spend hours in front of a screen and then hours in front of bright lights every day. But thanks to Super Male Vitality at InfoWarsStore.com, I still have that energy. There's no way I could have the energy at the end of a long day to fight back against the chemicals in the food and water, to fight back against the modern day lifestyle with the screen time and the extended hours, to still have the stamina and endurance, energy and drive to get to the gym, get to the park, and get exercise that you need for your health. So go to InfoWarsStore.com and get Super Male Vitality before it's gone. This is actually our last run of Super Male Vitality. So I want you to experience Super Male Vitality before it's too late.
Unleash the super male in you. Super Male Vitality from InfoWarsStore.com.
Welcome back to our Band 2018 midterm election coverage. I'm your host, Rob Dew. We're going to have a different host in here every night. Looks like Alex is going to do it 2 nights a week. We'll be doing it every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. And it's part of this kind of rev up as we expand into more shows all the time. I know Alex said by the end of the year, last year, we'd be doing 20 hours. And we got a little sidetracked, you know. Google and Facebook and Twitter decided, oh, you don't get a voice anymore. You don't get to talk. You know, now we had the midterms coming up. And one of the people running for re-election is Elizabeth Warren. And, of course, she put out her results of her DNA test. And it showed she had 1,024th Indian in her. And they're not even sure if that's Indian or if it's Mexican. Or I should say, I guess, Hispanics living below Mexico, in the Mexico region and below that. So the majority is European. 5 genetic segments is Native American. Yeah. And the Cherokee Nation issued a statement. A DNA test is useless to determine tribal citizenship. Current DNA tests do not even distinguish whether a person's ancestors were indigenous to North or South America. Sovereign tribal nations set their own legal requirements for citizenship, and while DNA tests can be used to determine lineage, such as paternity to an individual, it is not evidence for tribal affiliation. Using DNA tests to lay claim on any connection to the Cherokee Nation or any tribal nation, even vaguely, is inappropriate and wrong. It makes a mockery out of DNA tests and its legitimate uses while dishonoring legitimate tribal governments and their citizens whose ancestors are well documented and whose heritage is proof. Senator Warren is undermining tribal interests with her continued claims of tribal heritage. And that was Cherokee Nation Secretary of State Chuck Hoskin Jr. There he is. Now, I would say he looks very Native American. And people say, why do you say Native American? Why don't you say American Indian? You know, it was interesting. I went and interviewed Russell Means, who's dead now, unfortunately. He was a great man, done a lot of things. Some things I didn't approve of, a lot of things I did approve of. I went and interviewed him, and he said he calls himself an American Indian. That's what he referred to himself as, an American Indian. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. But we now have video, which we think, through forensic DNA analysis, that this was the video that Elizabeth Warren saw and gave her an idea. Hey, maybe I can get into Harvard and get my doctorate. You calling myself a Cherokee Indian because I have high cheekbones and my mom said I'm an Indian. So here's that video. I wonder how much a percentage of a victim is he? Does he get the results? Does he fix the cable? I'm sure there is. I don't watch as much South Park as I should, but I do like their sense of humor. So there you go. I think that's what gave her the idea. In fact, I think that was Elizabeth Warren. We should put Elizabeth Warren's head on that guy. Who's that? Stan's dad? Is that who that is?
Yeah, that's Randy Marsh.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that today, but it was going to take some time to edit everything together. I think that's
You are not a master of Premiere After Effects, which doesn't use After Effects. That's the key to doing something fast.
You are the expert in putting other people's faces on things. Most of the clips you see around here, Rob has edited, like the Star Wars Google censorship.
Quality Premiere After Effects.
Quality Premiere After Effects.
Yeah, the soccer thing we did during the World Cup. Quality Premiere After Effects. Yeah. So yeah, I guess I'll have to do that. I think I'll put this head, or maybe this head. I don't know. There's so many to choose from with Elizabeth Warren. I heard she made a visit today on the War Room. There was rumblings of that. All right. All right. Well, we got Jesse still on. Jesse, I forgot where we left off at. We weren't talking about coffee. I know that. But what were we talking about? I totally lost my train of thought.
No, it's all good. I was plugging the products, man, about the Brain Force and the X2, but
oh yeah, the Adderall thing. I had some questions about Adderall. All right.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
what did you get it prescribed for, if you don't mind me asking?
I got it prescribed. I was having a hard time with my job and the hours that I was working. I couldn't focus anymore. Concentration, energy, just all that stuff. Just real sluggish. You know what I mean? Had two kids trying to juggle 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
Just trying to keep up with everything, in today's society. And one led to two led to three, and the next thing you know, it's like the doctor will always give you more, but when do you go back down? When you want to go back down, it's like rehab, or you kill yourself, or you know what I mean? So
wow,
I made the right choice, got off of it, man. Been a battle, man, but all I use is you guys' products, man. So.
Well, congratulations. I'll tell you this. I just started bike riding recently.
Yeah.
And I tell you, it just going hard as long as I can, about at least an hour.
Yeah.
And it's really, one, it's got me in better shape. But two, I walk around the office with when you're talking about the sluggishness, I used to have that kind of sluggishness. Now I'm a little more alert. I still don't get enough sleep, which I don't think anybody does. I mean, even Kanye didn't get enough sleep, and that guy's got all the money in the world, and he still can't find time to sleep. So I hear you, man. Sleep is the beast, and they do say that, I guess the less sleep you get, the dementia can set in. So we do have to watch out. Well, man, I commend you for getting off that Adderall. That's good.
Yeah, it's not tough. Hey, speaking of the sleep thing real quick, one more plug. If anybody's looking for a product you want to feel, literally, the Knockout. Like, you literally feel, like, if you're looking for a sensation of feeling something, it's like, do I feel something? Is it going to work? The Knockout? Oh, dude, every time. I've got a bottle in my truck.
How many do you take?
I take just one, man. It takes about 20 minutes. I close my eyes. Next thing you know, I wake up a couple hours later, take a leak. I already fell asleep. Great. But
there you go. And that's all natural stuff. That's not Ambien, which will, make you tweet things, I guess.
It's good stuff, man. It works every time, man, like a charm. But I wanted to, I know we all know this, but I don't ever hear anybody talk about it. But you know how they always want to call us, oh, you're a Nazi. Well, let's think about this for a second. Who's the one pushing socialism? They are.
Yeah.
What does Nazi stand for?
National Socialist.
Nationalist Socialist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like they're projecting exactly what they are onto us, calling us Nazis, but they're the ones that want socialism.
They drop the nationalist part.
Right.
And they say, oh, you're a nationalist, you're a Nazi. When they're globalist, not globalist socialists. So they're Gazis. Gazis.
All these terms, man, they just come up with anything to try to win. And I don't see. I haven't gotten into politics, man, until literally Trump took that first speech, man. I used to watch him on The Apprentice a little bit, and I used to like his.
I never paid much attention to him either. I never was. It was just like, yeah, Trump, whatever. He's rich, who cares?
Off and on. I like this. He got good swagger, man. The way he talked to people on the Apprentice, and when he made his announcement, and I started really focusing in. Even my wife at the time, she's like, "You're so crazy. What are you so fascinated with this guy?" I'm like, "Do you hear what he's saying? I mean, this guy's calling everybody out."
Yeah.
I mean,
those debates were legendary. And I can't wait for the next debate. I hope a bunch of Republicans run against him because he's going to dismantle them because they're a bunch of chumps too.
He knows all their dirt now that he's the president.
Oh man, it's going to be a cakewalk. I can't wait.
A cakewalk, dude.
We do have to get him some support in the midterms. And even though, God, I hate saying vote Republican because a lot of these guys are just slime balls. But we're seeing them leave too.
Right.
The current Speaker of the House is not even running for re-election. He's like, you know what? I'm done. Jeff Flake. These guys are leaving on their own. John McCain.
I'm really concerned about voter fraud, man. With the big text in their back pocket.
Yeah. I mean, they banned everybody off Facebook that's a dissenting opinion, so they don't need much more.
But they've got all the elites. They've got the deep pockets. They got big tech.
But they don't have the truth. They're missing the truth.
But they have the ways to finagle those voter ballot boxes and stuff somehow. Hopefully not. But
we're smart enough. We're smart enough to defeat them. Man.
Owns the box. Didn't Soros own the boxes?
He owns some of the voting machine companies. Yeah, I think if you see what we're going to see, and I think it's going to be Trump's going to, maintain power. The power balance will stay the same. It may even increase in Trump's favor. I think you're going to see voter ID. You're going to see wall. You're going to see more tax cuts. And then there'll probably be some scandals in there because obviously, you know, they get Papadopoulos for having a meeting with somebody and writing a paper for somebody is suddenly treason.
Right.
And,
right.
But then I think you're going to see some people, you know, when they start looking. Notice how when Manafort, it started getting to Tony Podesta and who he was working for. It's like, oh, well, he pled guilty. He's fine. We're not going to press any more charges, and we're going to give him a reduced sentence because he cooperated with us. It's like, oh, we don't want to look at Tony Podesta.
Podesta did the same thing as Manafort, didn't he? Or the older one?
Yeah. No, well, that's what happened with the Manafort trial. When they brought him back to trial again, they were about to start this thing up, and it started leading into Tony Podesta. He was working with Tony Podesta? Oh, I didn't even know that. Yeah, he used to work with the Podesta brothers.
Right.
But they don't want you to know that. They don't want you to know that Manafort was kind of like he was a Boba Fett. He was a bounty hunter.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I tell you, hey, Owen made a good point the other day, man. He was talking about, you know, back when Trump was first starting out in the very beginning, nobody was talking about Trump on mainstream, not even Fox.
Yeah.
But you guys, for the most part, in Drudge Report, got Trump in there. And now they take all the credit.
That's okay.
For Trump. And
that's okay.
They give no credit to InfoWars, man. I mean, I'm so pissed off about this whole, like, censorship. I mean, I really think that the big tech guys, they need to be put in their place, man. I'm sick and tired of it.
I'll tell you what my credit is. A couple years ago, I was with my family skiing in Keystone, Colorado. And we're walking along. We're coming back from skiing. And I'm sitting there talking to them. There's a bunch of guys working on the hot tub.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there, hey, watch out for the tools here. Don't step on this stuff. You know, we're walking over like extension cords and tools. And I hear someone go, is that Rob Dew from InfoWars? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, InfoWars. He just yelled that. And I was sort of mortified because I'm like, how does he recognize my voice? Because I'm barely on the air. But that's how big the message is getting. You could be in the middle of nowhere in Colorado and somebody's heard your message enough that they recognize your voice from a distance. All right. So that, to me, that's all I need. That's my thanks. That's my credit. That's what keeps me going, is that we're informing people out there, and we're never going to get the credit for it. And that's fine. We don't need the credit. We don't care. We do this for you. Thanks for calling, Jesse. I appreciate it. I want to play a little bit of this Millie Weaver report where she's out there red pilling people. I believe this was taped in Ohio. We'll find out. Lebanon, Ohio. Yeah, here it is. We'll play some of this, and then we'll wrap up the show. Thanks for watching, everybody. Infowars.com/show. This will repost to this article, ban 2018 midterm coverage as soon as it's done, so you can watch it and send it all to your friends and all that other good stuff. So here it is.
The real question is, how long will they keep chanting? And at what point will curiosity set in? And will they actually listen to what he has to say? Why do you think that it's a good idea to go talk to these protesters?
I think more importantly than just what the people that are immediately hearing us right now, it's the people that are going to watch it in the future. They're going to see, wait a minute, they're being calm and they're making clear facts. They're explaining their position, and the other people are trying to shout them down, or they're just completely devoid of logic. And I think this is how we're going to educate my generation, the younger people, about the dangers of socialism and the importance of capitalism and conservatism and why we hold the values that we do.
You know, it's important to do the research, because I've noticed what the problem is a lot of these protesters out there literally just have been reading and getting misinformation that makes them believe that Trump supporters are racist, bigoted fascists. So the real issue here is education and people taking the red pill, essentially. We need to help people get the red pill.
Let's go educate some liberals.
I'm not tolerating you. Fucking ugly fake news. No KKK, no fascist USA. No Trump. No KKK, no fascist USA. No Trump. No KKK, no fascist USA.
They're literally calling a black man part of the KKK right now.
No KKK, no fascist USA. No justice. No justice. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice.
peace out.
No justice, no peace.
The real question is, how long will they keep chanting? And at what point will curiosity set in? And will they actually listen to what he has to say?
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question? Do Black Lives Matter?
Black lives do matter.
Black Lives Matter. Can we discuss that?
Fascists go home. If you want to discuss, go home.
Hey, Black Lives Matter.
It doesn't have to be a group discussion. You're people.
Do Black Lives Matter?
It doesn't have to be a group discussion.
Do Black Lives Matter?
Your president doesn't believe what we do.
Do Black opinions matter? Because you guys don't want to hear my opinion.
You came over here. Y'all were across the street.
When we were across the street, we were still screaming. Okay, well, let's have a discussion. Okay, what is a fascist?
Fascists go home.
We're not
Fascists go home.
What is a
Fascists go home. Fascists go home. Educate yourself. Fascists go home.
Oh, she fell behind. She fell behind the beat.
White privilege.
Fascists go home. 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 Fascists
You
go
can see the red pills taking effect. People are starting to have thoughts creeping into their minds. Like this girl with the headscarf. She's like saying, why are they yelling fascists with me? We were calling them fascists. What is going on? This is not part of our program.
I hate fascism too.
Disconnect.
Did you know that?
Oh, we don't want to have a conversation.
I hate fascism.
I hate fascism too. Fascism.
Did you know I hate racism?
I hate racism too. We all hate racism.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
We are a republic.
This is what democracy looks like.
We are a republic.
So they turned around now. I don't know. What are they looking at?
Democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
They turned their backs.
They both had the same idea.
Fascists go home. Fascists go home.
Fascists go home. Fascists go home. Fascists go home. Fascists go home. Fascists go home. Fascists go home. Fascists go home. Fascists go home. Fascists go home.
All right.
Fascists go home. Fascists go home.
Commies go home.
Fascists go home.
Fascists go home.
Fascists go home.
All right, pull it down just for a second. We got about 3 minutes left. Go forward and see if they actually talk to people in here, because I'm anxious to see if this leads to any productive discussion. I have not watched this video yet. I saw it, and I watched the very beginning, and I'm like, well, at some point they have to talk to him, because I saw that girl with the headscarf. She was looking like, wait, why are they saying fascists go home? They're supposed to be the fascists. I'm hearing this play. I'm an NPC. I'm here. I'm trying to make sense of my world, and they're saying fascists go home. Wait, that's supposed to be our line. So there seems to be some disconnect going on. I saw something on about the NPC culture. It's definitely freaking people out. Them calling people non-player characters. This is definitely having an effect. And in fact, there were 4 Twitter accounts banned just because they had NPC in the name.
Oh, way more than 4 at this point.
Yeah. What is going on, Zimmerman? You are the little guru.
The left is freaking out about this because, and one reason I was reading that I think is probably correct, is because this is a meme that specifically resonates with young people. Young people know what NPCs are. They grew up playing video games. Older people, baby boomers, they don't really know what this means. So it's part of this meme warfare that you saw in 2016 that helped Trump win. This meme has taken hold, and they're not happy about it. They're saying, oh, it dehumanizes people. It's like, yeah, you people don't act like people. You don't have individual thought.
Isn't that funny, though? They dehumanize us. They call us Nazis. They call us fascists. They call us racist. So they're dehumanizing us. And then when they get dehumanized by something that's not even you're an NPC.
Yeah, you don't have individual thought.
You can't say that to us.
All your thoughts and opinions are programmed in advance.
Wow. It's amazing. Well, Zimmerman, you should do a report on this, or some of our other younger people like Savannah Hernandez should do an NPC report.
NPC report.
Because me being over 40, I'm one of those WMs over 40, white male over 40. I don't know what the hell they're talking about anymore. All I know, it's a gray face, and I'm like, yeah, I thought that was just a thought or a normie. It's an NPC. See, I'm not even up to grasp on this. All right, we're running out. We have a minute. Is there anything in there worthy of salvaging at the end of this report? Play it. Let's do it.
But I think it's interesting. People say that the party switched, and they often reference Lyndon B. Johnson and how he was pro-black, and that's proof that the party switched. But Lyndon B. Johnson, do you know what he actually said?
Oh, he was the sort of a Dixiecrat at first. He
was a big-time racist. He said if we can keep those in-words on welfare, we'll have them voting Democrat for the next 100 years. And look what happened. He kept those in-words on welfare, and we're voting Democrat for the next 100 years.
See, you guys are saying a lot of true things, but there's more true things, too, about both sides.
And what about Margaret Sanger, the woman who founded Planned Parenthood, and how she was a racist? She was extremely... Go ahead, tell them what she said.
Margaret Sanger said black people are like human weeds and must be exterminated.
And that Planned
That's
Parenthood,
all the time we have today. You can watch that on InfoWars. Watch people getting red pill. Thank you for watching here. We'll be back tomorrow, 8 to 10.
Guaranteeing your food independence is a crucial part of prepping. Between debt crisis, natural disasters, or even simple power outages, having a supply of storable meals is crucial. With InfoWars Life Select storable food, you can make sure you and your family are ready for any emergency. With drinks, snacks, and meals in amounts ranging from 72 hours to a full year, there's no better place to look for healthy, easy, and incredible meals. Including meals such as Traveler's Stew, Homestyle Potato Soup, and a variety of other meals for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, InfoWars Life Select storable food will help you eat comfortably in a time of need. They even work great for camping. Simply pack a 72-hour kit to go, and you have easy-to-cook and transport food for you and your loved one's trip. Don't be caught surprised by an emergency. Make sure you're stocked up today with all the food you need for an affordable price with InfoWars Life Select storable foods.
As the years go by, it gets harder and harder to keep up with your body's nutritional needs. With changes in diet, unnatural ingredients, and stress, you may not be able to get all the necessary nutrients, amino acids, vitamins, and minerals needed daily. That's why InfoWars Life created the powerful Vitamin Mineral Fusion formula. The new platinum standard of advanced multivitamin formulation, Vitamin Mineral Fusion uses a unique delivery system to maximize the effects and give your body the tools it needs to support your body. Using a proprietary process, we've managed to make this powerhouse formula into a delicious, concentrated drink mix that's loaded with high-quality ingredients. Perfect for a hot summer day or relaxing at home, Vitamin Mineral Fusion is loaded with 34 different essential vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and more. Start supporting your body's needs in a great-tasting, natural, and affordable drink mix with Vitamin Mineral Fusion today. Available at InfoWarsStore.com.